Okay, good morning everyone. My name's David Steele and here's me truck. And today we're in a Kenworth K100E. This is something of a back to the 80s celebration, I think you might say. So we have under the hood, or technically under the cabin, as this is a cab over engine design, we've got a Cummins big cam. It's actually a big cam, or it's a Cummins NT Fleet. So it's sort of a big cam, sort of. It's a very late 1970s engine, and like I say, it's badged Fleet. What does that mean? Well, that means it is optimized for low fuel consumption, shall we say. It's rated at 270 horsepower and 1,020 foot-pounds of torque. So it is not the most outputty of engines, you might say. And as you can probably hear, it does not have a manual transmission either. No, this has an Allison 750, I think it's a DRD. It's actually a HT750DRD, and that means high torque, direct, something along the lines of low reduction drive. Great, fantastic, but here's what you need to know. It's a direct drive automatic transmission. It has 5 speeds, so it's got a nice super low first gear. Well, it's not super low, but it's low enough. And a 325 final drive. Now that means that at 55 miles an hour, these 22.5-inch rims, good grief, get your words out, David. You're doing about 1,500 revs, and that's fine. I mean, it's an older engine, and they do need a few more revs to perform. And 1,500 is about right. The Fleet engines, however, were very much designed. Let's just negotiate this bit first, shall we? Okay, they were very much designed to be high efficiency and produce more torque low down compared with your sort of normal engines. Oh, and it has a governor of just 1,600 revs. So you see, when the Cummins introduced the Fleet units, this was round about the time when Mack had pretty much revolutionized the industry by bringing out the Maxi-Dynes, the engines that produced a continuous torque amount across a good chunk of the engine rev range. Now, this engine doesn't quite do that, but it tries to match the Mack in terms of efficiency. Negotiate the security here. And I have to say, in terms of efficiency, yeah, it's still a 14-litre engine. But it does, excuse me, a bit squeaky, it does okay. And to be fair, okay in the late 70s, early 1980s is not quite the same as you might expect from an engine today that is optimized for efficiency. Something like the X12 maybe. But, or the X15 efficiency, where am I supposed to go? I'm supposed to go around to the left. Oh, there it is. I see. Could ask these chaps, but let's just not. Look like railway workers. Or railroad workers, I should probably say. No, looking all clear. Speed bumps are my least favourite roadside object. They possibly tie it with pickup trucks driven by entitled drivers. It's hard to say what I prefer least. And if you don't know what I mean, well, I've got a big pickup truck, so I can use 2 parking spots. Don't you know me? Yeah, not my favourite. Nice looking rolling stock. What's this crane thing doing? Well, either way, I can't really afford to just loiter on the railway lines, so let's cross this. And let's check in. Let's get my moo cows. I'm not looking forward to maneuvering this truck today. So check in. So cargo market, it should all be booked. Yes, it is. Live cattle. We're actually going to the seaports. Really not far. It's only what, 51 miles. It says. But this is the kind of trip that this truck was spec'd for. Let's hit to the right. Get my hazard warning lights on. Or four ways, as they're known in the US. Alright, there we go. That doesn't look too difficult. And having the cab over helps because it's quite short, and that's the reason why this truck is spec'd as what it is. But I do not do very well reversing these trucks anyway. And now that they've got the more realistic field of view mirror, I really struggle with it. We'll try it from the cabin, but I'm expecting to very quickly resort to the external. Let's see, can I really tell much from here? No, I don't really see how far away I am. So we'll just have to wing it and hope for the best. That actually looks like might be positioned about right. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, see, immediately I'm losing visibility of it. I just can't see what I need to. I'll give in. I'm gonna do this. Okay, I wasn't actually far off, which is encouraging, but it's just not a skill that I've got in many trucks, and this cab over is probably my worst attempt for it recently. The fact that it's so dang sensitive to the controls. I do have my physics set to represent the fact that the trucks are a bit difficult to drive, which makes them very jerky when you jam on the brakes, and that is, air brakes are not exactly the same as fluid brakes that you might find in a car, but still huge gripping amount of rumbling around. Anyway, right, we've more or less got this how I want it. No, we haven't. Okay. So, the benefit of having the short wheelbase Kenworth K100 and the automatic transmission is for inner city hauling stuff around, and it turned out that there was quite a market, well, there still is, for hauling cattle across Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles, yes, it's a city, but to put this in context, as I recall, it's about the size of Scotland. Well, not quite, but it's enormous. And you know, a short run across a city, and if you're from the UK, a smaller city, somewhere like maybe Norwich, or possibly even New York. I used to live in both of those cities. Let's go ahead and shut it down and get the cargo loaded. A short haul across that city might be maybe a 20-minute drive. Disclaimer, it was the last time I drove across the city, depending on the time of day. York could be an hour. Could you imagine having to travel 90 miles across a city in rush hour? Yeah, you're looking 4 hours. Right, that's got the moo cows loaded. Just check that they're on board. Yep, we most definitely have cows in there. 35,000 pounds, give or take. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to turn those on. I'm going to shut the windows because this is not exactly a quiet engine. I think what I want to do is just check the route. In fact, let's go here. What's the route? Pretty straightforward, I think. Very straightforward. That's 50 miles. Wow. I mean, I almost feel like taking a diversion, but no, we're like, oh. The seaport, it looks a little bit like Houston. Okay, well, you know what, that's fine. It's what we get paid the big bucks for. And that is to do the urban runs that other truck drivers don't want to do. So the automatic transmission is very, very useful for being in the city. The other side benefit is, and this is the main reason why this truck has an auto, is it makes the travel a lot smoother for the cattle. So you don't want damaged livestock, and by damaged I mean physically damaged. You don't want injured or damaged livestock when you arrive at the destination. And you know what? If you can help it, you don't want them sick. Now, I don't know what cow bath looks and smells like, but I can imagine it is not pleasant. Now, in the context of all the other stuff that comes out of the back of one of these, it's probably not the worst product that you're going to get, but let's just make life more comfortable for the cattle, right? So that's the plan. The gearing, this thing will do about 57, 58 miles an hour in top gear at the governor, but if it's based in Los Angeles and the speed limit in California is 55, you don't need to go any quicker. And you avoid speeding tickets. I mean, you probably won't get a ticket if you're doing 58. You might, but you'd be having a bad day. You'd have to give the cop a bunch of attitude. And that is in the 55 limit. I mean, if you're in a 25 and you're doing 58, yeah, you deserve a ticket, in my opinion. Alright. 5 gears. There is a 4-speed auto available. It's the 740D. That's also got it was a direct drive. It has a usefully low first gear. But I decided, you know, the time that we may be trundling through muddy fields and stuff, that extra super short low gear is useful. And if you've watched my videos, you know I like super short things. Okay. We're of course running American Truck Simulator 1.53 today. So you may have noticed my view snaps back to the straight and level if I do something like this. After 5 seconds of letting go of the view controls, it does exactly that. It goes back to the front and center view. I'm getting used to it. I like it more and more. It takes a bit of getting used to. I have the button maps to my controller that resets the view, and I would use that all the time. I don't really need to use it anymore. Sometimes I still do. Or I'll manually put the view close to the center, which it just did, and then it will just correct it for me. You know, I should try something. So I use a controller. And I map my view stick to be horizontal only. I don't use vertical. Because back in the day, I did something like this. Let's grab my mouse. It's very difficult to get that to reset back to your normal view. But let's see if it takes care of it. I'm just going to have to look right a little bit. Yeah, I think it does. I'm sure it does. I just haven't tried it. Let's see. There we go. Fantastic. So that might encourage me to put my stalk, my right stick even, to be fully vertical and horizontal. Oh, we missed the light, but that's okay. It's alright. I don't want this to be an uncomfortable trip for these cows. Yeah. Of course, the other nice thing about the automatic transmission is a torque converter. It gives you that little bit more torque off the line. Then this is, like I say, it's not a powerful truck. It's 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, give or take. It's only 270 rated horsepower. Most, I would say family car, but typically it's older sports utility vehicle in the US has got at least that. Not the torque, but has the power. You don't need lots of power to maintain a high speed, which is good because you're in California, you don't need a high speed. So the 270 is well suited to the task with the automatic transmission. Gotta say, I've driven it with a manual, and actually it's not really a disaster there either. I'm gonna go ahead and actually I should use the left lane. I was gonna go ahead and just slide into the right lane there. In the US, when you turn left, you are supposed to use the leftmost lane unless the signs say otherwise. Semi or semi trucks or heavy trucks usually a bit exit that. It's just you're not supposed to. but I decided I would slide into the right-hand lane and then realised just I've got to turn left. So there's something I really like about the auto. I was slowing down, the lights turned to green, and I got right back on the power, and there was very little delay. In this case there was no delay because it was already in second gear. It didn't need to figure out what gear it needed to shift me down into. It got going, and some of that is because this engine has plenty of low down torque. I've tuned it such that it'll drive at 700 revs. In fact, you can move it off empty in second gear with the auto. It does prefer first, but you can do it in second gear. And that seamless power makes a very good use case if you don't like slowing down that much. Like now, give it a squeeze of power. We're off the line. I'm not totally being tough with the throttle here. When it shifts up to second gear, you don't really lose any momentum. Now we're going to go third. Again, it's the same thing. It takes a little bit of time for the engine revs to drop down to just over 1,000, but then you have that anyway, and there's no shift lag. Really compelling case for the autos. I have now given it full power though, so here's the thing: we're not accelerating exactly quickly. That's better. We're on the flat now. But in the context of hauling 35,000 pounds of cattle with only 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, I don't have a complaint there. Let's get speed on the cruise control up to 55. And let's get it going. Alright, so we're in 5th gear at 40 miles an hour. And so from this point we're locked in top gear. If we come to a gradient, it's not going to downshift because that governor at 1600 revs, it's kind of a big handicap, especially if you're used to a manual, and you might want to spin the engine around to 2100 RPM. But if you drive with this engine as opposed to against it, your economy numbers are pretty effective. It's trying to merge with me, which is good. So we're up to 55, and then we're losing a little bit of speed up this gradient, but not a massive amount. I'll say gradient, it's a bridge. And what more do you really need? Economy numbers are going to be a little all over the place. It's showing 6.6, but that's multiple trips. I didn't reset it for this one. Cruise to 45 as we go over the bridge. Look at the port down there. That's pretty impressive, SCS. That's very impressive. That looks good. That's very good. There's a water treatment plant down there and a whole bunch of containers. Right, let's switch back to this view. Alright, so I think we've got to take the exit here, and then we're doing like a U-turn. I need to really be in the left lane, but there's a car next to me. Oh. Tried to downshift, then it didn't like that. That is a bit of a disadvantage of only having this fairly low governor, not many gears. You can't use the engine brake as effectively as you might want to. Suppose you could fit this with a retarder. And Zach, if you're watching and listening to this, yes, I have completely just imagined what you would say at that point. On the engine brake here. Cabovers are not exactly as stable as, shall we say, a conventional truck. And with me driving, you really need that extra stability, or you just have to slow down. In the right-hand lane up here. Alright. We managed it. Okay. But really this is a perfect example of slow and steady. So here we're 1500 revs. It's going to shift up when we crest the hill. Full power. It's not going to hit the governor. It might do. There. It actually shifted up when it reached the governor, which was also the same time as when we crested the hill. So it's not as flexible as having more revs and more gears. I wouldn't expect that. And that can feel like a big compromise. On a long trip, this doesn't really feel like the sort of machine you'd do for that. It's capable of it, providing you're patient enough to be happy to sit at 55. And you don't really want to take it for any heavy haul. Though of course, well, let me just show you why I would absolutely do that. It's a 4x2, so naturally, should leave my lights on. Naturally, I would be taking this for on a long, heavy trip because that's what I do. But it's not exactly ideal for it. Okay. Signal we're turning left here.
Turn right.
We will stop. I don't think it's optional. I'm going to take these road signs very seriously. Don't really want to mess with the authorities in California. Absolutely not. Of course, we are waving my hand away from the fact that we're actually using an engine that is not to code in California. We would be fined for this. Might even be taken off the road. Which lane? Let's just choose this one. Any lane will do, right? We'll use the rightmost. Some people incorrectly say the rightmost lane is the slow lane. No, it's a driving lane. Everything else is an overtaking. Bumpity bump. I hate me speed bumps, but there we go. Sign says stop, so we've stopped. Deutschland, you have to stop for 1 second. No, we're not in Germany. And they tell that you've stopped from the little jolt that your car gives when your vehicle, I should say, because same applies to a HGV, heavy goods vehicle as they're called. Just go straight ahead here. I'm not going to faff around and use any of the other lanes. Just go straight ahead. Keep it nice and simple. And we'll go through security. I'll probably have to do something with this little console here. Guess they want to... Yeah, they're taking... That was actually pretty nifty. Straightforward. Yep, nothing to do here. Okay. Probably need my hazard warning lights on. Another vehicle coming up on the right hand side, so we will use lane 6, I think. So I know it's very tempting to just rush through this part of the drive, but I think it actually adds something to it. The fact that SCS have gone through to add these features. You don't have to, but there isn't no way to kind of shortcut them. Now is this truck going to let me go ahead? What is that? Okay. It's a Mac. Is that a Pinnacle? Just let you go ahead, Sonny. You know where you're going. I think I've got a cement mixer behind me now. Yep, I do. Okay. He's not using his four ways, so I'm going to turn them off. A ticking noise is just distracting. Now, site speed limit is 15 miles an hour. It's not showing there on the map, but I know it's 15. I saw the sign when I came in. So I'm not going to speed. Probably going to hold up this cement mixer behind me. But that's his deal. I do not want to get busted for this. And of course, you know, think of the cattle. He's drifting to the left. He's doing like a gentle left turn. So if you're familiar with the Star Wars movies, the original one they made, Episode 4, A New Hope, yeah, I guess I'm geeky enough to know that. There's a scene towards the beginning of the movie where Han and Chewie have blasted off Tatooine with Obi-Wan and Luke, and there's a couple of Imperial Star Destroyers are trying to cut them off. And Luke says something, and Han says, "Don't worry, kid, I know a few maneuvers." And he then performs a gentle left turn, Family Guy rip that to shreds, and I think it's true and yet hilarious, and yet that's what he did. Well, I just did a few maneuvers. I did a gentle left turn there. That was a more severe left turn. Right, this is an impressive sized port, but I guess it's Los Angeles. I don't know what the port numbers are for LA. I mean, finding a new route. It's right there. And good to see that we do have some traffic in the port as well. I think a lot of them, maybe they're all like this now, but they were just dead quiet. There was just nothing around. Okay, I don't really want to do where do you need it. No, don't want to do that. That's going to be such a pain. I'm just going to do, let's play it safe. Oh, well that's like, I mean, you have to imagine me smiling at this point, because how hard can that be? Yeah. And besides, there's this enormous great big crane can pick it up and take it where it needs to go, so what do you need me to reverse it in a spot for you? Okay, see if I can use these mirrors, front mirror and the side mirror, effectively. There we go. You see how my front mirror, the right corner of the windshield is showing that I'm in the box? Otherwise, it's hard for me to tell. I can tell using that mirror, okay, but it is difficult for me to tell. Right, let's go ahead and turn off the lights. So mileage for this trip is probably going to be pretty effective. Gentle driving. I don't really know where to go with it. I guess I'm going to go with somewhere over or close to 7. But let's take a look. Actually, yeah, not bad. So 54 miles, it was a little further than we thought, but only 9.3 gallons. It's about 6 to the gallon. So I say not bad. 7's very optimistic. I wouldn't expect, genuinely now I think about it, such a short drive through the city, wouldn't expect 7 miles per gallon from a big rig. Number of cows that have honked? Absolutely 0. Number of people that found this video to be acceptable or not terrible? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So on that note, I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, you know what to do. 3 hours? Oh, yeah, 3 hours across the city. It's about right. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, you know exactly what to do. If you thought it sucked, go ahead and let me know. But otherwise, thanks so much for hanging out with me. And I'll hopefully see you the next one. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care. Goodbye.